Hey guys, Michael from Fire and Brilliance, and today's episode is going to be actually quite interesting. Today's episode is about the Taylor Swift engagement. You know, everyone's talking about it, talking about the ring, the design, the engagement, the couple. What they're not breaking down is the actual gemstone, the center stone called the OMC. So if you're going to watch this video, what you're going to learn about is about the ring design, but at the same time, primarily, you're going to learn about the old mine cut. And if you stay all the way until the end, you're going to learn about my opinion as well and my take on the OMC. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged, and they announced it in August of 26th of 2025 with a vintage-inspired piece designed by Kindred Lubeck of Artifacts Fine Jewelry. And I'm actually really happy to hear this because it's not the typical big branded big box names that you typically hear from celebrities that get engaged. They actually chose at a store, mom and pop type of feel. And that's really good because they're bringing attention back to some of the companies and businesses and jewelry businesses that deserve it. To be quite honest, the artisan, the person that works on single pieces of jewelry and not mass-produced jewelry, and I'm all for that, right? So that said, I really like that they chose that option, but it features an elongated old mine brilliant cushion-cut diamond estimated anywhere between 7 to 15 carats, set in yellow gold and hand-engraved details with smaller side diamonds. The antique stone, possibly from the 18th to 19th century, giving it a warm romantic sparkle, and is valued anywhere between $250,000 to up to $5 million. Now you may ask, why are these estimates so off? Anywhere between 7 to 15 carats, costing anywhere between $250,000 to $5 million. Well, it's because many of these celebrities, they won't tell you how much they spend, right? So all of these are all guesstimates, right, based on pictures. So all people can do is take a picture of it and guess based on their professional opinion. And unfortunately, 7 to 15 carats based on a picture can be that range, because how do you really know unless you weigh the stone, right? And the cost of the stone or the cost of the overall ring can range between $250,000 to $5 million as well, because who knows, where did she buy the stone from? From whom did she buy the stone from? Was it cut from a artisan specifically for her, or did she really buy a stone that was cut from the 18th to 19th century? So all of these different variables will range and will account for the overall cost of the ring, right? So yes, it can range, and that's the reason why when you read these articles and news pieces, that's the reason why. That's a logical explanation as to why the range is so far. I mean, $250,000 to $5 million, that's a huge difference, but it does make sense why that can be the case. So now that being said, let's go ahead and give to you some details about the ring. The Taylor Swift engagement ring. The ring features, again, an antique-inspired cushion or old mine cut for its soft edges and vintage sparkle. It's anywhere between 7 to 12 carats. It's used in yellow gold. If I had to guess, it might be 18K to 22K, 20K. I don't know if 24K would be used, but it can. Some people do prefer 24K. And how much is the Taylor Swift ring? Again, it's anywhere between $250,000 to $5 million. So that is the overall explanation of her engagement ring. But if you followed me throughout this whole jargon that I've been kind of going over, what I really want to break down is the center stone. It's the OMC. It's something that I've been talking about in my channel for, quite a long time. We, matter of fact, have many different designs of OMCs on our YouTube channel as well. But in this specific piece, I want to let you know that we have broken down the OMC, or the old mine cut. And if you really want to watch a detailed breakdown of our moissanite line, then you can go ahead and click here. So what is the OMC, right? The OMC is an antique-inspired center stone that was cut during the 18th to 19th century. And why is it popular? Well, the OMC, all it is that without the modern techniques and the modern faceting techniques and the modern equipment, which is called the modern brilliant cut, this is the cut of the yesteryear or century, right? It is the cut that was very popular back in the 18th to 19th century. Now, if it was a cushion cut, then it's called the old mine cut, OMC. If it's a round cut, then it's called the OEC, which is not part of this video, but if you want to learn more, go ahead and click on the link up there. That being said, the old mine cut, what are the key features? The key features is the higher crown, and the crown of a gemstone is the top part of the gemstone. Okay, it has larger facets, and all the facet is when you're looking at a gemstone, the reason why it sparkles so much is because of all the facetings, all of the cut areas, or in other words, the surface areas. Each individual surface areas of a gemstone is called a facet. They usually have larger facets for old mine cuts, and it has a faceted culet. Now, are there OMCs without a faceted culet? Well, first of all, what is a culet? A culet is the pointy bottom of a gemstone. At the bottom of the gemstone, that little pointy part, that is called the culet. Some cutters may cut that part or facet it, and some cutters may not. The modern cut, most of the times, do not facet the culet. However, the old mine cut, the antique cuts, do facet the culets. Are there old mine cuts that don't have faceted culets? Yes. But if you are to purchase an OMC and want that signature look, you want that vintage look and appeal, then you should definitely go with the faceted culet. That's usually what it looks like, okay? And some other pieces of information on the old mine cut, again, is from the 18th to 19th century, predating the modern cutting techniques. The shape is usually cushioned or slightly irregular with a high crown, small table, and deep pavilion. The appearance is also known for its chunky and warm sparkle, and its larger, softer flashes compared to the modern Brilliance. And in terms of the color and the clarity, really it can range all around, just like the modern Brilliant cut. It could go anywhere from the D, E, F, G, H, I, J, all the way to Z, where it's very warm, or it could be very white. But at the same time, for the clarity grade, it could be anywhere between an I all the way to a flawless, right? So it can be the same as just a modern Brilliant cut. However, the more of the common vintage cut from the 18th to 19th century is usually a little warmer, anywhere between, I would say, probably not GH. It's probably a little too white. It's probably closer to the IJKLM. These are based on the stones that I've seen, and the clarity grade is usually anywhere between SI and VS clarity grade if you're looking for a higher graded OMC cut, right? Now, here's my opinion on the OMC, right? So I've given you the breakdown on the Taylor Swift ring, the engagement ring, as well as what an OMC is. But here's my opinion on the OMC. Now, OMCs is something that we here at Fire and Brilliance have been promoting for a very long time. We actually have our own OMC line in moissanite. Matter of fact, people may not know this, but we've had many customers inquire about the OMCs and the lab-grown diamonds as well. And we've sold a few of those as well. Many people don't know that it's even available in lab-grown diamonds. It's because many people don't know that, or maybe many vendors don't know where to find them. But here at Fire and Brilliance, we can definitely find OMC cut lab-grown diamonds for you. That being said, my opinion is that if you are going to go with OMC, there are a few key features that you should look for, okay? If I was to personally purchase an OMC, what I would normally get is a warmer colored OMC. And I'll tell you why. When customers and clients of ours in the past have purchased OMCs, they're usually looking for a vintage-inspired, antique-inspired piece of jewelry. So they will normally go for a ring that is more etched in design. It could be machine etched or it could be hand carved, right? And with minimal accented gemstones. So what they're trying to go for is more of a bold gold look with more of a vintage look where it's etched in design. So therefore, they're not trying to go for all that sparkle and glam, right? So they're eliminating all of the extra accented gemstones all around the ring. And the metal that they normally go for is a warmer look. So it's usually a higher purity in gold. So normally 18K yellow gold and up. So it could be 20K yellow gold, 22K yellow gold, or some people may even opt for 24K, which is pure gold. But so normally 18K yellow gold and up, or they would go for a modern touch, which is the rose gold. The rose gold is also very nice with the OMC. The rose gold can be also in 14K, 18K, 22K, 20K rose gold, right? The rose gold will give it that extra oomph of warmth as well. Now for the OMC, if you're choosing the OMC stone, definitely go for a stone that has a faceted culet. Sometimes the faceted culet might just be a faceted circle at the bottom, but some of these culets may be a line where it lines up with the entire elongated cushion. So it's a faceted line, right? So definitely go with a faceted culet. Personally, I would not go with an OMC that does not have a faceted culet because that kind of kills the whole overall look. The whole point of an OMC to have that vintage and that signature stamp is that faceted culet. Secondly is if you can, try to find an OMC with a warmer color, where, again, anywhere between, I would say an IJ or lower, because then it will truly give it that vintage look. So if you're going after that vintage look, that vintage appeal, that antique inspired, matter of fact, many people don't know this, but an OMC or old mine cut, another name for it, it's actually an antique cushion cut. Okay, so if you're going to go for an antique cushion cut and purchase an antique inspired ring to go with it, then why not go for the overall look and feel, which is normally a warmer look. So again, if you're going with an OMC, find the faceted culet, find a warmer toned colored stone, so a lower near colorless stone to a very warm stone, and then set it on a warm colored piece of jewelry, typically in yellow gold or rose gold. And if you're going to pick yellow gold, go with 18K yellow gold and up because it's warmer in color, or rose gold. And that's how you're going to be able to tie it all together, and it will look really nice. All of our clients that has purchased OMCs with us and set it on antique inspired jewelry have been happy. We haven't heard any complaints about that at all, especially if they're going for that overall look and feel. So that's my opinion. Let me know your thoughts. And guess what? There's also another cut that's antique inspired. Again, I've mentioned this earlier. It's called the OEC. And all an OEC is, it's the cousin, brother, or sister of the OMC. The difference here is that it's not a cushion shape. It's a round shape. And if you want to learn more about that, go ahead and click on the link above. Goodbye.